What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the GoodeBaker Podcast. I'm Nick Baker, and across from me, Shane Good.
Yo.
And we are here to talk to you about some video games. But of course, first things first, I gotta let you know to go over to our Spotify, Apple Music, and Google Play stores and get the audio version of the podcast, as well as our YouTube channel for the video version. Make sure you keep up with everything we got going on our Instagram and Facebook page so you never miss a show. Now on to what we've been playing. What have you been playing, man?
So, I have been playing pretty much nothing but League of Legends.
Nothing but League of Legends.
I started playing a game called, what's it called? Oh man, my brain, I'll think of it. Valium? Valium?
You have started playing that game, and that's interesting. I thought you might kind of dive into that. It's like that survival game.
Yeah,
right?
it's like it's a open world, procedurally generated, like Minecraft-esque like game, except the graphics are very different than Minecraft, obviously, but essentially you've died and you've gone to like an afterlife, and you have to kill like gods in this afterlife, and as you so the gods are kind of like, imagine them as like progression levels of like society. So like when you kill that first god, it's like a like reindeer kind of isk looking motherfucker, and you get like his head, which you can turn into a pickaxe. So like,
okay, so
yeah.
it's sort of like Monster Hunter that way, where you kind of get the pieces of things and build other things out of them, like weapons and armor and stuff.
Oh, very, very, very much. And like as
Nice.
that happens, you like every time you build a little like something else, it's like that the next thing that you needed to unlock your like next progression level.
Nice. That's cool. It sounds like progression's really cool in that game.
Yeah, progression's super cool. Yeah, obviously you have to defeat bosses to actually progress through the game, which for people that aren't really into like PvEing, a lot of people play those types of games to just because they like to build and stuff like that. You're kind of stuck in like a wall where you actually need to do it to go to the next stages. But the building in that game is also really cool. There's a lot of just like nice little details. Like if you don't ventilate your house when you have your fire on, you'll kill yourself. Like,
Oh, wow. All
yeah.
right, so it goes that deep. That's interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of very cool mechanics. Also, everything's out to kill you. Like everything. Yeah. Like I mean, like lizards will kill you if you're like if you don't have a like a club or something.
Damn.
Yeah. It's brutal.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. I'll have to look into that one because it's getting rave reviews everywhere. I think it's got like a 9 on IGN. I looked this morning. I was like, huh, what's this Valheim game?
Yeah, I know on Steam at least. Oh gosh, dang it, Steam. It has a. Hang on, I'll tell you exactly. Overwhelmingly positive rating at 96 with nearly 60,000 reviews. And it came out on the 2nd.
Right, so not too long.
No.
Couple weeks anyway.
Yeah, that's pretty nuts, dude.
That's pretty good for a game in that genre too. That survival genre is really hard to break into sometimes.
Oh, it can be very difficult, especially because the like Viking kind of isk, not that it's overdone right now, but it is pretty saturated.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I don't know. It's pretty cool. There's a lot of really cool shit about it. But yeah, maybe
Nice.
when you get a computer.
Yeah, I mean, right around the corner. Tax season is winding down here, so should be getting those puppies in here pretty soon. That sweet return.
This is true.
But
What
as
have
for
you been
myself, I've been I jumped back into Final Fantasy 14. There's a new expansion that's coming later this year that I want to get ready for. I'm not even close to even into any of the other expansions. But I figured like, oh yeah, this new little bit would probably get me back into it, and I have been kind of getting past some tentpole things that were kind of getting in my way before, and I just kind of dropped off before. So there were like a few dungeons that I needed to dive into, that I needed to match make for, that I wasn't necessarily like super jazzed about going into all by myself, because I don't have like a clan or anything I play with on there anymore. The people I played with have just completely dropped off the game, so it's just
Yeah.
me roughing it in there with the matchmaking. But it is still a lot of fun. I love the combat and the world that Final Fantasy 14 puts forth. The new classes and new parts of the story in some of the expansions that I've been diving into are really, really good. I've been trying out the samurai class and really getting to know that almost perfectly now, so that I can switch to another class once I finally get to the checkpoint that I'm looking for. So,
I
but other than
heard
that,
that class is really cool, by the way. I heard a lot of people like the samurai class.
oh yeah, yeah, it's probably my favorite DPS class that I've played. I'm usually playing DPS, if not like a caster DPS, which is pretty much the same thing.
Hmm.
But yeah, the as far as melee based DPS goes, it's one of my favorites. The smooth combos and everything. You don't really have to remember too much about like as far like the ninja class has so many different combinations that you have to remember with the ninjutsu that you can do, whereas the samurai is just kind of building your combos and your gauges so that you do more and more damage, which is more classic DPS to me, I feel like. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty pumped and right into that. So I've been playing that a lot. I started the month off playing a little bit of Control. I think I talked about that a little bit last week, but we were battlefielded out last week. So yeah, loving that game. The style of Control is really, really cool. The very red focused color scheme is something that's right up my alley. I love that like neon bright red against really dark tones like blacks and stuff, and the bold nature of everything that's going on in that game. The abilities and powers that you get with the founder's gun, which is just super awesome. It looks so great on the PS5 too in 60 FPS. So having a great time playing that. And the last thing I'll mention, which will lead into the rundown, the first thing we have on that, we have two things on the rundown this week, is Warzone. I've been playing a lot of Warzone, getting ready for the next season. Yeah, and it's been a lot of fun, a lot of frustration as well, trying to get those wins. But it's a battle royale, so you got to fight for every inch. And so season 2, first thing I'll run down this week, we have season 2 of Warzone is going to be coming on February 25th. They're going to be adding
Woo!
potentially a new map, which is like this crazy jungle looking map. From what the trailer shows us, it's this crazy jungle map. 3 new weapons, plus a slew of new operators. The new weapons, according to Nick Merckx, if that's a reputable source, I
I
have no
mean,
idea.
Nick
But
Merckx is that makes sense. That makes sense.
yeah. So the first gun is the Galil, that they recognized from some of the leaks, I guess. The LC-10 submachine gun and another crossbow. So
Cool.
we'll have to see how those actually affect it. The crossbow, as far as I'm concerned, is like non-factor in the actual battle royale mode. But this one looks a little bit more beefy, so we'll have to see if this crossbow makes a dent. Oh,
I mean,
excuse me.
if they bring back the like one-shot styling of a crossbow.
Yeah, and it's pretty much there. I don't know if I don't use a custom crossbow, but I when you're playing in the pregame, they every once in a while will give you a crossbow, and you start with 2 plates in that pre mode,
Mm-hmm.
and you can drop guys instantly with any kind of body, foot, headshot, whatever. So I imagine that it's probably a one shot even with 3 plates.
Damn.
So, but it's just so hard to use, and the reload is so excruciatingly long.
I
That,
mean, it's like a sub switch. It's if if you know you're good with the single shot, and
yeah.
you that's your DMR, as they say.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I can see it really like a highlight reel play where you get like a whole team wipe with your crossbow and it working like really really well if you get the right situation. But I'm just not a pro, man. I wouldn't have the reaction time or anything like that. I'm above 30 now. It's a different world. We start to get slow. Our bones start to grow hollow, and we get shorter. It's weird.
Your bones start to grow. I mean, are you like turning into a hollow from Bleach? Is Ichigo gonna
Yeah,
pop out of my fucking wall and try and kill you?
dude, my Zompok toe just comes out of my side saddle here. You know what I mean?
Yikes!
But
Yikes!
yeah. So the big the big deal with Warzone is of course that new map. The jungle map that they showed in the trailer looks really sick. Hopefully it's just as big, if not bigger, to accommodate even more players. Hopefully they bump that player count up to like 200, 250, something like that. Just make it crazy. Go wild with it. Call of Duty's known for it, so let's get it.
I mean, that'd be pretty cool. From what I understand, because obviously I don't play a ton of Warzone, but Ben basically tells me that um,
Mhm.
the first like 60 people that die are basically like just terrible. They're just like trash at the game. They're like Christmas noobs on crack. And then
Oh
the
yeah.
last like 25-ish people, it starts to get a little tough, and then the game starts when there's 10 people left.
Yeah, absolutely. And you'll kind of notice that with any battle royale, especially games like Fortnite, where you have like the cream of the crop there at the bottom 10. So
Yeah.
very much similar in Warzone, and I can't wait to have that new fun experience of learning the whole new map and getting people on that edge of things because it's always when those new shooters come out, it's always the best time to get in there as a player like myself who's you know medium aggressive, but also you don't play every day, so you're not like mechanically sound all the time.
Yeah,
But
that makes sense. That makes sense.
better than average, not great.
Better than average, worse than most.
Right. Yeah, worse than pro Twitch streamers for sure.
Yeah, that makes
But
sense.
number two, and our well, sadly the last thing on our rundown, but it's going to be the longest one. So we're going to spend a lot of time talking about the Nintendo Direct that just happened the other day. There's a lot of stuff to break down here. There was even more that I didn't include because it's just the highlights. I felt like this stuff was stuff that kind of correlated to things we usually talk about. I didn't want to add in any like of the weird little indie titles that I didn't think mattered so much. There was one mystery. Uh, it was almost like a graphic novel style game that I almost included in here, but I'm like, that's we're not gonna play that.
Yeah.
So first thing they announced during the direct was that Xenoblade characters Pyra and Mithra are coming to Smash. So that's awesome. More characters for Smash. Have you ever played or seen anything from Xenoblade?
I have. I'm pretty sure I've at least seen Xenoblade played. However, I don't remember for sure. I'm also just stalling so I can actually look up what the game looks like, and I can tell you for sure. Yes, okay. I have seen Xenoblade played. I have not played it personally. No, I did play the first one actually. Played on DS, I think.
You're right. It was on DS. The first one was on 3DS, I believe, and this one, these characters are from the second one. So there's already a character from the first one in the game in Smash. I think his name is Shulk,
Yeah.
and but Xenoblade Chronicles 2 introduced Pyra and Mithra, these two characters, and yeah, I think it's a cool, interesting inclusion in the game because I didn't really see this one coming. Maybe the main character, who is Rex, I saw coming, but these side characters I didn't really, it was completely off the radar for me. But it was a nice little surprise, and they're honestly pretty decent characters in the actual game. I haven't gotten too far into that. I restarted it a little while ago and fell off it again, but definitely a good entrant, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. These characters, obviously, I don't know what these characters do, but they look like they're definitely Smash characters. Like, just
Right.
looking up what these characters look like in the game itself, not even like what they would do with Smash, look like they're gonna be like this chick's gonna be some sort of like sword fire, and this chick's gonna be some sort of sword holy, which is kind of like I wonder if they're gonna be. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know the
No.
game type, so it'd be cool to
It's
see what they give for abilities.
right. It's it's definitely surface level for me right now, but just simply because I haven't played Smash too much
Hmm.
lately, and I haven't really got to experience any of the new characters. But I imagine these will fit right into the anime sword fighting characters that we have in the game already. So there's quite a stock of them.
This is
Um,
very true.
On to the next announcement, they had a brand new trailer for Monster Hunter Rise, showing off more of the impressive amount of monsters in the game, as well as a special edition of the Monster Hunter Switch. So that's pretty cool. The Switch has kind of this golden etched dragon on the front of it, and I don't know. I don't think they showed any of the special edition Joy-Con or anything like that, but the console looks pretty nice. The game looks great. I'm a big Monster Hunter fan, not as big as our resident Pokemon expert Paul is, but he he absolutely loves this game, and he'll definitely be buying this day one, I'm sure. But yeah, there's a lot of great new monsters. There's this mud dragon with these whiskers that I'm really into. I think he looks like a lot of fun to fight. He summons these like towers of mud, and looks like it's going to be an interesting game mechanic to try and scurry around. But um, Mario Golf was also announced. Mario Golf Speed Rush announced for June 25th release date. Story mode and speed golf modes are also going to be new to the franchise. Speed golf is pretty much golf, but it's always your turn. You keep
Oh,
shooting and you keep shooting until you've finally gotten to the hole, gotten your ball into the hole, and once everybody's there, all everybody's scores are tacked up, and whoever got there first, I'm sure, gets a score boost. And
so are you familiar with Golf with Your Friends?
yes,
So this is basically just Golf with Your Friends Mario edition.
yep.
Not gonna lie, Golf with Your Friends is one of my favorite golf games ever to be made, and I legit think I have probably like 40 or 50 hours in Golf with Your Friends just from playing golf with my friends. So
And so now it's time to play golf with Mario and your friends.
that's true. I really hope that I hope that they do funny shit with it. Like, so one of the things that makes Golf with Your Friends so replayable is the custom maps that people can make. I don't know if they're gonna go that way. You know, like the Natario. What the fuck? The Nintendo map maker. Like, we'll see how that looks. But
Mm, mm.
the like ability to change your ball into random ass shapes and to do different things like that really made that game's replayability there. Like trying to beat the entire like course as a cone. Like, dude, I think me and DJ did it with unlimited strokes once, and it took us like 700 strokes or something like that to beat the beginner map as a cone.
That's amazing, dude. So
That's yeah.
yeah, Mario Golf Speed Rush is going to come on June 25th. Really great spot for it, I think.
Mm,
Excuse me. Had a bubble there. Uh, I think it's a perfect spot for that game. Mario sports games are always games that sell really really well, and in the middle of summer, I think that Nintendo's going to need a little bit of a boost. This direct was kind of barren for like really major announcements, and I think this was one of their like knock it out of the park. Like, everybody's going to scream for this one.
I mean, yeah.
No. Next on the list is No More Heroes 3, announced for August 27th. If you don't know No More Heroes, it's sort of like a third person action game where you play this character named Travis Touchdown who has a beam sword. It's sort of like a slasher. There are mini game elements to it, where they add in different mechanics from all kinds of different games, whether it's side scrollers or platformers. There's all kinds of things that are just thrown at this game, and it's a random crazy amount of fun. And I remember playing the first two, never really beating them. I remember the first one more vividly on the Wii, because it had the motion controls, and they really took great advantage of that and made it totally worth it to get that on the Wii. The probably one of the best mechanically sound games as far as the motion controls go on that system. So it made it really satisfying to play.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that one's coming out in the late summer. So there, you see what Nintendo's kind of trying to do here to like spread themselves maybe a little thin, but also over the entire summer too.
Yeah, I mean, releasing a ton of games all at once just isn't a good way to do it
Yeah,
in general. Like, you lose audience pieces, or you lose audience that would be into both games but only had enough money to buy one and then just never got the other one.
right.
So,
So our next announcement that they had was Neon White, and this is a cool first-person card-based game with parkour element, movement systems, sort of like Dying Light and Doom, um, but the main character is voiced by none other than the great Steve Bloom, who voices Spike from Cowboy Bebop. Really, really great voice actor. Brings a lot of character to this game that otherwise it does seem kind of plain looking at face value. But once you kind of see what the mechanics are trying to do, it is kind of putting a twist on the first person shooter genre with these card based weapons that you use. Really, really interesting game. Interested in seeing more for sure, and seeing what the story might bring. Because that'd probably be what I was most interested in a game like this.
mhm.
What have you seen anything on this?
I haven't, but knowing that he's the voice actor, that's pretty cool. I know that a lot of times when anime voice actors and stuff like that come and do video game voice acting, it always ends up being very. I would say a good word for it would be vibrant. A lot of those voice actors are just so full of life and just so like passionate about voice acting, and they really like it shows in all of their work. So,
Yeah, yeah, and he's definitely one of those guys that just brings a whole new vibe to whatever he's working on. So, really interested to see more. Next thing on the list, Animal Crossing DLC for Super Mario Anniversary. So what is it? She said 25th or 35th anniversary of Super Mario
holy
this
shit.
past year. So they've been throwing out all kinds of different Mario related things. We got 3D All Stars last year, bunch of different Mario games remastered and remade for the Switch. We just got Super Mario 3D World again with Bowser's Fury. I've actually been playing that a little bit with Shay. Um,
She's not throwing you off the world? Wow.
well, I wouldn't say that she is keeping me on the world, but
Yeah.
we're doing a little bit better than we were. Uh, but now they're bringing some of that Super Mario glory to Animal Crossing via the DLC with different suits, different furniture that you can put amongst your island, different tiles that are specifically branded with all the different official Mario stuff, and they all make the Mario sound. So you can have all that in your village. When was it was like next couple of weeks anyway.
So close.
Um, yeah, pretty soon. I could find the specific date, but anybody that loves Animal Crossing will already know, I'm sure.
They breathe that shit, bro. They
Oh,
breathe that shit.
absolutely. You know what I breathe
What do you
is
breathe?
Square Enix, and Square Enix announced Project Triangle Strategy. Yeah, that's a name for a game. That's
Yeah, it
right.
is.
The second game in their illustrious 2D HD series that includes Octopath Traveler. Same art style as that game. I'm so stoked for this. I was really excited when Octopath Traveler got announced. I love that pixel art style, but with that diorama, um, third person skew. It's really interesting, and I love the like I said, just the aesthetic and the music of those games brought forth to a modern sensibility and modern storytelling. In this time, they've changed the combat to be more like the Final Fantasy Tactics, in which there's a grid style system where you move your characters along it, and you use your abilities and attacks to gain the upper hand on your opponents via flanking and all these different routes on a grid-like map. So it's a lot like D&D in that way, but if I could relate it to anything that anyone would know, definitely Final Fantasy Tactics. It's plucked right out of that game's ass. So you'll see it all over it. And that game is coming in 2022, which is a little strange because when I first heard that this direct was announced, they said that all the games during this conference were going to be 2021. I wonder if that was pivoted at the end of this and they just added a little bit more to spice it up.
Mm,
But either way,
maybe.
I'm super super excited for Project Triangle Strategy, if that is its real name.
I hope it's not. I'm sorry.
I
Uh, Project Triangle Strategy. Hey, son, what are you playing today? Dad, I'm playing Project Triangle Strategy 2. What?
Yo, I'm playing PTS, man.
PTS. Yikes. Wait, so PTS DLC?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh my fucking word.
The jokes write themselves, man.
They do. They do.
The next thing on our list is a new arena style fighter sports like game that sort of reminds me of Fortnite. It's Knockout City, and Knockout City is very much what I just said, like a character based. It doesn't seem like it's a battle royale. They didn't give us a ton of information. It's definitely team based multiplayer, where your characters are controlling this ball and you're passing it from one person to another, and then you can throw the ball at opponents to defeat them. And I assume that there's going to be deathmatch like events here. The game is very much stylistically supposed to be aping Fortnite. I feel like that's the style that they're going for sure with this one. But it did look interesting. I included it here just because I thought that it was a cool new twist on the genre, whereas it's sort of bringing in some sports like elements to that
Hmm.
um, battle royale flavor. Even if it's not a battle royale, it does seem like that kind of game.
Now, forgive me for this, but why is Nintendo always trying to get in on this competitive scene? Like with Splatoon and I mean they had Splatoon 1 and 2. I just always feel like they're trying to break into this like competitive scene, but they just thrive so well in other places. I just don't understand why they do it. Not that I think this is going to be a bad game. I just, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's a weird
yeah.
crossover.
I feel like they try to get their hands in as many pots as possible, and then they throw out like Mario, Zelda, and whatever else
Mhm.
to just fill in the gaps. And those are the like surefire calls. But then you have Knockout City, which is like kind of like an experiment.
Yeah.
So it's not gonna bring any walls down or ring anybody's bells or anything like that. But it's definitely gonna be there for the people that want to play it. Kids probably mostly. It does seem like a kid targeted game, but yeah, if you ever want to throw some balls at some of your enemies, you know where to do it.
Very true.
Knockout City. The next game is from the makers of Danganronpa, the graphic novel game. I don't know Danganronpa that well, but the World's End Club. It's going to be a very similar style game, which it's very graphic novel storytelling elements, but there's some overworld gameplay and storytelling that happens there. And the specifics to the actual gameplay of this game are very clouded. There's some side-scrolling portions of the trailer that they showed that kind of give you a hint as to what the enemy fighting sequences are going to look like. But other than that, there's really not too much. I know that you're going to be solving mysteries and problems with a bunch of your chibi little friends in this game, so
I mean,
we'll have to we'll have to keep our eyes on this one. But the game itself and everything about the game stylistically is really nice. It has a really good art style, and that direction really intrigues me. So, do you know much about the Danganronpa series?
um, I know more about the actual anime than I do like anything.
Right.
Um,
Well, it's better than nothing.
yeah, it's mostly like what Deborah has told me about the anime itself. Um,
No, so maybe Deborah will be interested
yeah, I was gonna say this
in this
definitely
one.
sounds like something that Deborah will be all about due to the fact that it's anime related and it has chibi. So if you say anime and chibi, it's like a fucking summoning.
I'm surprised she's not like
She's
bursting into
literally giving me the finger in the corner, by the way. But
loving it. Next on the list, we have Hades is finally coming to Switch with some sweet bonuses. You get the full soundtrack and I believe some digital art along with the physical edition of Hades. Um, Super dope. Can't wait to actually play this game. I've been thinking about buying it for a really long time. I have wanted it portable, so I'm really excited that it's finally making its way here, and I'm able to try it out. I now that I'm thinking about it, I think it might have come out digitally, and this might be the physical edition.
I
Now that
was
I'm
gonna
thinking back,
say, I do know
it
a lot of my friends have played this game. I mean, like, a lot of my friends have played this game, and basically they all are, I think, probably at least a couple hundred hours in.
yeah,
Like,
it seems like a huge time sink that everybody just absolutely ate up last year when it was on PC and the other platforms. But yeah, I'm really excited to give it a try this year. Maybe it'll be my game of the year this year. Who knows? Um, but yeah, here's where we move into the second half of what I think they were kind of going for with the Nintendo Direct. They had their first portion, which was like the blah 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 blah. Oh, here's one thing or the other, but this is where they kind of tried to drop the hammer on you. So the Hyrule Warriors game is getting some DLC in different waves. May, June, and November are the dates for each of those, and they're going to add story elements and whatnot for the 25th, 35th. I again can't figure out what I'm trying to do here. The 35th anniversary of The Legend of Zelda is being celebrated this year, so they're just pumping out the Zelda content.
dude,
Uh,
Zelda for days.
Bravely Default 2 is coming February 26th. That game has been in the works for a really long time, ever since the Bravely second game didn't do so well in the swan song of the 3DS. They've really wanted to bring Bravely Default back. It's kind of like a Final Fantasy spin-off RPG game, and it does look really, really good. So I might have to give that a try. And I'm a sucker for those JRPGs. So
It's true. It's got a cool art style. It's got like, it's very like JRPG meets chibi art style.
mm,
I just happened to pull up a couple pictures of like the art style, and it looks pretty fun.
yeah, it's the combat system. I remember in Bravely Default 1 just being really, really top notch, and just making you want to play more, and spicing up that turn-based battle system that really can get kind of bland sometimes if you're just like running through. Much like Persona 5 really spiced up the turn-based nature of the game by just allowing it to pretty much, if you played that game right, it was always your turn, and you
Yeah.
were just wiping teams of enemies out all at once. So excited to see more from that game. Apex Legends is coming to Switch
What?
finally.
No way. Wow, that's
Yep.
insane, dude. I can't wait to play that on an iPhone 4 and it look better.
Yeah, and yeah, it looks like it was getting like 15 frames a second, man. It looked rough. They have to change like UI elements for this game for the Switch. I just don't think it was a good fit to begin with, but they
Hey,
had to do it. They announced it. They had to do it,
that's
and they're
right.
finally coming through.
Dude, they're gonna gain an extra 5 players on Switch. It's gonna be nuts. I wonder if it's gonna be as bad as. Do you remember when? I don't know if you were playing Fortnite with me, but when they integrated phones into regular lobbies in Fortnite.
No.
So like
No.
you could tell it was a phone player because you could walk up and just simply walk left to right, and they couldn't aim fast enough to shoot you. Like you could straight up tell it was a phone player. I wonder if it will be similar where it's like, oh look, it's a Switch player, and they're just like lagging into fucking oblivion in the corner.
I imagine it's going to be much like that. Hopefully they don't. Hopefully they don't include crossplay with this, but they're totally going to.
I mean, you know they're
The-
going to.
those Switch players are going to get trashed, but you know, you can play, so it's fun.
It's true. It's true.
So everything was leading up to this, the banger, the piece de resistance. Everybody was
Oh,
waiting for this. Twitch was on fire. I mean, Twitter was on fire with rumors and speculation of what they were going to announce as far as the big Zelda title
yep.
for this direct. And a lot of people were really disappointed when they found out that it was Skyward Sword HD. Coming
Yikes.
completely overhauled. The control system has been changed so that you don't have to use the motion controls, but the motion controls have also been changed so that you can use two Joy-Con as opposed to the Wiimote and nunchuck like you had to before. Um, your sword and shield will be in your opposite hands, obviously, for the Joy-Con controls, whereas if you are using it in handheld or a Pro controller, you're going to use the right stick to slash your weapon. And I think it's just traditional shield controls, which is like a trigger or something
Dude.
for the regular shield controls. So a lot of people really disappointed by this. There is like a one more thing announcement that we're going to talk about in a second, but yeah, I don't think this really turned many people's knobs to 11. I think it was more around like a 5 or 6 from most. They also included special edition Joy-Con for the release, which is July 16th. What do you think, man?
I don't. You know. I mean, it's cool. I'm sure there are diehard fans of this game that are like, "Oh my god, there's no fucking way this is coming out!" You know. But
Oh,
like,
absolutely. Any game has their big fans.
exactly. I mean, is this like? I guess my question is this Nintendo milking something because they don't have an IP that they are currently looking to produce in Zelda, or is this Nintendo catering to their their fans of that particular game and giving them what they've wanted for a really long time, you know?
So
Because one's
okay.
good and one's bad.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think they are catering, and the reason I say that is because the way they presented this game was very much in a caring, like fundamental way, where they just have this game. They're putting out this direct with all these other games on it, and this was kind of the flagship thing that they were pushing.
Mm-hmm.
So they're really, really proud of this. Whether or not people receive it as that is completely up to the public. I enjoyed this game for what it was when I played it back on the Wii U. Uh, I wasn't incredibly impressed with where Zelda was going at that time, so I kind of fell off at that point, and until the newest Zelda, Breath of the Wild, came out and blew my fucking mind.
Yeah, well, I mean, Breath of
But
the Wild.
as far as this goes, the way they presented it, it does make me think that there is more to come as far as the Zelda anniversary year. They did a lot for Mario, but I think that they're going to do even more for Zelda this year. Whereas they're starting really, really early in February with this announcement, getting the special edition Joy-Con out there. Really getting people juiced up about this, and I think this is probably the lamest they could go with their Zelda announcements. So getting that out of the way early is probably a really good way to go. Plus, they did have that little bit of conversation. I didn't watch the direct, but what they said during the announcement of this game is that it's the earliest point in the Zelda storyline throughout the entire Zelda series. So this is like the building of the Master Sword and the inception of Hyrule and all of those things that we've come to know from the Zelda series. All of those things began in this game as far as the storyline goes. So the way that they kind of presented it in like that, it's almost like they're trying to begin the year with the beginning of Zelda and kind of maybe give us more substantial stuff later on in the year. They did say that in a tweet afterwards that more Breath of the Wild 2 news is going to be coming later this year, which means we're probably not going to get that game until early next year or mid next year.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have to hold our breaths for that one. But
For sure.
Yeah. So I don't think they're trying to screw anybody here. I think that they're just trying to set expectations properly for for the year coming, and that everyone's a little disappointed is understandable. But I think that there's more greater announcements to come for sure.
I got
Much
you.
like this next one, which is the big thing that they tried to tote as their like one more thing. You know how all these press conferences have like, oh yeah, we got one behind this curtain. It's Splatoon 3, and it's coming in 2022.
Whoa!
Yeah,
Wow.
Splatoon, good game,
Wow.
good game,
Didn't
not
I
great game.
literally just talk about how they're always trying to break into this fucking genre?
That's right. And one Splatoon, you thought, well, all right, they're trying this out. Two Splatoons, you're like, well, they're trying to break the ice here. Three Splatoons, you're like, ugh, oof.
They
I don't know.
think they've broken the ice.
Yeah, they think they've broken through. No, there's like seven more layers of ice there, man. You gotta.
Oof.
There's party chat. You need to fix like multiplayer aspects of this game that just never really worked. Like local, maybe like local multiplayer, include that too. Like get people in playing this game. It was so hard to get into Splatoon 2 just because the ease of getting into a match with your friends it wasn't easy at all. the the party system never worked. The chat
Yeah,
system
it
with
was
the app
bad.
was just a bad idea. They need to create a system within the Switch's UI so that you can party chat on the system instead of having a secondary screen. Great idea. Like like these ideas I feel like are really simple, but also these ideas could be the difference between the life and death of Splatoon 3. So hopefully they figure those things out. They really get people in and playing this game, because I would love to play Splatoon again. That game is a lot of fun. The graffiti, paint as much as you can to try and paint more than your opponent style gameplay modes have always interested me. I really like that. It reminds me a lot of the old Tony Hawk games where
Oh,
you could skate up on ramps and paint them a
yeah.
certain color.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's very much that, but as like a whole game. And I fell in love with it when I first played it, and the controls are so fun, and the characters have such cool stylistic art that I'm super into the actual style of the game. But just let me play it. Let me play it with my friends. Yeah, it's hard.
I mean, to be fair, you weren't able to play. I forget the name of that mode, that Tony Hawk mode, but I totally know what you're talking about. You weren't able
Yeah,
to
yeah.
play that really. Well, actually, no, you could play it locally really well. But, like, I don't know. The era of Tony Hawk's so old. Hurts my
I
head.
know. You know what I can't wait for?
What can't you
It's
wait for?
Oh well, it's Skate.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I said, what can't you wait for as you were saying it, didn't I?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Discord, classic.
Yeah. I mean that ping, man.
What?
Yeah, exactly. That's everything we got for you this week. This has been the GoodeBaker Podcast, and we've talked to you so much, so much about these video games that I think you owe us. I
Yo,
think you owe us a go over to our Spotify, Apple Music, and Google Play stores to get the audio version, not buy it because I said that before.
I,
Uh,
I think
also,
this is not to interrupt you, but I'm gonna interrupt you. I think this is the first time you've ever messed up the outro or intro.
yeah, I thanks for pointing that. Go to our YouTube channel, get the video version. Make sure you keep up with us and everything we got going on our Instagram and Facebook pages, so you never miss a show. And of course, check in with us next week, because we're going to be right here, ready for you, talking about video games with you. So, come back. We love you. We'll talk to you later. Peace.
Peace.